My father-in-law called me at 5 a.m. screaming, "The house is being foreclosed. Wire $150,000 today, or your wife's childhood home is gone forever." I said calmly, "Sell the vacation property," hung up, turned off my phone, and went back to sleep. 3 hours later, a knock on my door from a private investigator changed everything I thought I knew about my marriage. Let me get straight to it because this story is absolutely insane. I'm Daniel Foster, 38, a commercial real estate developer living in Charlotte. I've been married to Rachel Hartwell for 6 years, and for the entire time, her family has treated me like their personal investment fund. Her father, Robert, calls with business opportunities. Her mother, Susan, needs help with temporary cash flow issues. Her brother, Kevin, always has the next big startup idea that just needs seed money. I always said yes because that's what you do when you marry into a family, right? You support them. You prove you're worthy of being part of their circle. But that morning at 5 a.m., something in me finally snapped. I refused for the first time in 6 years. And what happened next revealed a con so elaborate. It involved fake financial documents, phantom properties, and a marriage that had been transactional from day one. If you've ever felt like your spouse's family saw you as a walking investment portfolio instead of a person, drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. Where are you watching from? Let me know your city. Now let's get into what really happened. I'm 38 now, living in a renovated brownstone in Charlotte's 4th Ward that I bought and restored myself 3 years ago. My wife, Rachel Hartwell, is 36, works in interior design, or at least that's what she tells people. Her father, Robert, is 63, supposedly a retired hedge fund manager. Her mother, Susan, is 60, claims to run a boutique consulting firm. Her brother, Kevin, is 32, perpetually between ventures. The second Rachel said, "I do," 6 years ago, her family started treating me like I'd married into an investment partnership instead of a family. "Daniel, you understand business," Robert would say with that confident smile. "Family helps family build wealth together. That's how generational success works." The requests started immediately after the honeymoon. "Daniel, I have an incredible opportunity. Commercial property in Asheville. Just need $75,000 for the down payment. We'll flip it in 6 months, double our money, 50-50 split." I wired the money. We were family now. That's what families do. 6 months later, the market shifted. We need to hold the property longer. Can you cover the carrying costs? Just $8,000 a month for a few months. I covered it for 9 months, another $72,000. The property never sold. Robert said we lost it in foreclosure. Real estate is risky, son, but that's business. 3 months after that, Susan called. "Daniel, my consulting firm has a cash flow gap. Just $30,000 to cover payroll until our next big contract comes through. 2 weeks tops." I sent the money. Never saw it again. Then Kevin pitched his app idea. Social media meets cryptocurrency meets AI. I just need $50,000 for development. You'll be a founding investor. This is the next big thing. I invested. The app never launched. Kevin said the technology wasn't quite ready for market. I kept a spreadsheet because at some point, I needed to see the numbers in black and white. 6 years of family investments, $680,000. Every cent from my real estate business, my renovation projects, my actual investments, funneled into the Hartwell family black hole. And not once did anyone say thank you like they meant it. It was expected. It was my contribution to the family legacy. It was what good sons-in-law do. Until that Saturday morning at 5 a.m., when Robert called with the biggest ask yet, and I finally said the word I should have said 6 years ago, no. The call came at exactly 5:07 a.m. I was asleep next to Rachel in our bedroom when my phone exploded with her father's ringtone. I answered groggily. "Robert?" "Daniel, thank God. I've been trying to reach you for hours." His voice was pure desperation. "We're in crisis mode. The bank is foreclosing on the house, the family home, where Rachel grew up, where Susan's mother lived. 4 generations of Hartwell history." I sat up, suddenly alert. What happened? "The mortgage. I had to refinance during COVID for some business expenses. Now they're calling the note. $150,000 due by 5 p.m. today, or they auction the property Monday morning." "That's today, Saturday. Banks don't auction on weekends." "Private lender, not a bank. They're ruthless. Daniel, I'm begging you. Wire the money this morning. I'll pay you back with interest. I just need to get through this crisis." I walked to the window, looked out at the Charlotte skyline. "Where's the money from the Asheville property?" Silence. "Robert, you said we made money on that flip. Where's my share?" "That got reinvested into other opportunities." "What about Susan's consulting contracts? Kevin's app investors?" "Daniel, this isn't the time to dig up old business." "It's exactly the time. You're asking for $150,000. I've given you $680,000 over 6 years. Where did it all go?" His voice changed, harder. "You're really going to do this? Question family investments while your wife's childhood home is being stolen? Sell the vacation house in Hilton Head." "What?" "The beach house. You told me it's worth $800,000. Sell it. Problem solved." Long pause. "We can't sell that. It's in a trust." "Then borrow against it." "Daniel, you don't understand how these things work." "I understand that I've given you over $500,000, and you're calling me at 5 a.m. for more. Sell the vacation property. You're really going to let your wife's family home be foreclosed because you won't help?" I looked back at Rachel, still asleep in our bed. "I've helped for 6 years. This time, help yourself." I hung up, turned off my phone completely, and went back to sleep. For the first time in 6 years, I slept without the weight of being the Hartwell family ATM, crushing my chest. I woke up at 8:30 to someone pounding on my front door. Rachel was still asleep. She'd taken an Ambien the night before after too much wine at her mother's birthday dinner. I went downstairs in my robe and looked through the peephole. A man in his 50s, professional looking, holding a manila folder. I opened the door. "Can I help you?" "Daniel Foster?" "Yes." "I'm Thomas Reynolds, private investigator. Can I come in? This concerns your wife and her family." My stomach dropped. "What's going on?" He glanced around. "Is Rachel home?" "She's asleep. What is this about?" Thomas handed me the folder. "I was hired 3 weeks ago by Gerald Matthews. He's a real estate investor in Asheville. He asked me to investigate Robert Hartwell regarding a property deal that went bad." I opened the folder. Inside were photos, documents, bank statements. What am I looking at? Proof that Robert Hartwell has been running investment scams for at least 15 years. The Asheville property you invested in? It never existed. The address was a vacant lot. Robert showed you fake documents for a building that was never real. I felt the floor tilt. That's impossible. I saw photos. Stock photos. The deed he showed you was forged. I verified with the county. No property purchase ever happened. Your $75,000 down payment went straight into Robert's personal account. And the carrying costs? Same. No property means no mortgage. You were paying him $8,000 a month for nothing. I sat down on my stairs. What about Susan's consulting firm? Thomas pulled out more documents. Doesn't exist. She filed for an LLC 8 years ago, but never registered for business taxes. No clients, no contracts, no revenue. The $30,000 you gave her for payroll paid for a month in Europe. Kevin's app? Never existed. He hired a designer on Fiverr to make mock-ups for $500, showed them to you, then spent your $50,000 on a Tesla and cryptocurrency that he lost trading. I stared at the pile of evidence. 6 years of lies documented in black and white. Why are you showing me this? Because Gerald Matthews isn't the only victim. I found 12 other investors over 15 years. Robert's been running the same con repeatedly. Fake properties, fake businesses, fake opportunities, always targeting successful sons-in-law or family friends, people who trust him because of the relationship. How much has he stolen total? Approximately $3.2 million that I can document. Probably more. I felt sick. Does Rachel know? Thomas looked at me carefully. That's what I need to tell you. Rachel's not a victim. She's part of it. What? He pulled out more papers, bank statements. Every time you wire money to Robert, Susan, or Kevin, they transfer a portion to an account in Rachel's name. Look at the pattern. I looked. 3 days after I'd sent the Asheville down payment, Robert had transferred $15,000 to Rachel. After Susan's payroll money, she'd sent Rachel $6,000. After Kevin's app investment, he'd transferred $10,000. Rachel gets a percentage of every investment you make. She's the inside person, the one who keeps you trusting the family, encouraging you to help them, making you feel guilty when you hesitate. That's insane. Rachel wouldn't... How did you meet her? I thought back. A real estate conference in Atlanta. She approached me at the networking mixer, said she was impressed by my presentation. Robert was at that conference. I checked the registration. He was there, watching you present. Rachel approached you 20 minutes after your talk. That's not coincidence. I felt my world tilting. You're saying she targeted me? I'm saying the Hartwells identify successful professionals, usually men in their 30s with money and no family nearby. Rachel approaches them romantically. They date. She talks up her family constantly. How close they are, how successful her father is, how supportive they are of each other. She introduces you. You get absorbed into the family. And then the requests start. How do you know this pattern? Because I interviewed 3 other men. Same story. Met Rachel at professional events. Whirlwind romance. Marriage within 2 years. Then systematic requests for money disguised as family investments. 2 of them are divorced now. 1 is still married, still funding the family, completely in denial. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at my street, my neighborhood, the life I'd built. How much of it had been real? The foreclosure call this morning, I said. Is that real? Thomas shook his head. I checked. No foreclosure. The house Robert called about? They own it free and clear. Paid off 15 years ago. This morning's crisis was fake. Designed to panic you into wiring money immediately, without time to think. I turned around. What do I do? That depends. Do you want your marriage or your money? I stood there holding Thomas's folder, my entire reality crumbling. What do you mean? Thomas leaned against my doorframe. I've seen this before. The spouse either knew from the beginning, like Rachel, or they're a victim too. But either way, confronting them usually ends the relationship. Because either they admit they've been conning you for years, or they defend their family and call you paranoid. Rachel's been taking money from every investment I made. Yes, for 6 years. Yes, while telling me she loved me. Thomas said nothing. I looked up the stairs where Rachel was sleeping. My wife of 6 years. The woman I'd built this house with. The woman who'd cried when I proposed. Who'd held my hand through my mother's funeral. Who I'd thought was my partner. How do I, Prove it to myself? That she knew? Thomas handed me a USB drive. Bank records going back 8 years. Rachel's receiving account statements, text messages between her and Robert, planning how to approach you with different investment requests. There's one from 3 weeks ago where Robert asks if she can soften you up before Kevin pitches his new crypto idea. I took the drive, felt its weight. This small piece of plastic contained evidence that my marriage was fraud. What happens if I confront her? She'll deny it, claim her father was giving her gifts, claim she didn't know where the money came from, claim you're being paranoid and cruel for accusing her family. And if I go to the police? Fraud is hard to prosecute between family members. Investment losses are even harder. Robert will claim these were legitimate business deals that didn't work out. Juries often see it as, he said, she said family drama. So they get away with it? Criminally? Probably. But civil court is different. You can sue for fraud, show the pattern, prove the fake documents. You might recover some money, but it'll cost $100,000 in legal fees and take years. I sat back down on the stairs. Why are you telling me all this? Because Gerald Matthews hired me to build a case. He's suing, but if more victims come forward, it strengthens the case. And he asked me to warn anyone else who might be currently targeted. I'm not just targeted. I'm married to the bait. Thomas nodded. That's why I came this morning. The 5 a.m. call wasn't random. They're accelerating. Usually means they're planning to disappear soon. Big final score, then they move on. Move on where? 3 years ago, they lived in Nashville. Before that, Phoenix. They run the con until victims catch on, then relocate and start fresh. The Asheville property scam? They've been in Charlotte 4 years. They're probably planning their exit. I looked at the USB drive. If I plug this in and see messages between Rachel and her family, planning to con me, my marriage is over. Yes. And if I don't plug it in, I keep funding them until they disappear with everything. Yes. I stood up. Thank you for coming. Thomas handed me his card. Gerald's lawyer is Patricia Morrison. She specializes in investment fraud. If you decide to pursue this, call her. She's expecting to hear from you. He left. I stood in my foyer, holding a USB drive that would either destroy my marriage or destroy my denial. I walked upstairs. Rachel was still asleep, blonde hair spread across the pillow, peaceful. I'd loved this woman for 6 years, believed in her, built a life with her. Was any of it real? I took the USB drive to my office, closed the door, and plugged it in. The files opened. Hundreds of documents, bank statements, text messages, emails. I started with the bank records. Rachel's account, the one I thought was just for her design business, showed deposits from Robert, Susan, and Kevin, going back 7 years. 15,000 here, 6,000 there, 10,000, 20,000. Dates matched perfectly with my investments. 3 days after I'd wire money, Rachel would receive her cut. Total deposits over 6 years, $127,000. She'd made $127,000 for my investments in her family's fake businesses. Then I opened the text messages. From Robert. To Rachel. Date, 6 years ago, 2 weeks before I proposed. The foster guy is perfect, successful, no family nearby, lonely after his divorce. You need to close this. Get him to propose within 6 months. Rachel. I'm working on it. He's cautious because of the ex-wife. Robert. Be patient, vulnerable. Show him family unity. He'll want what he doesn't have. Rachel. What if he checks our background? Robert. He won't. Successful men think they're too smart to be conned. Use that confidence. From Robert. To Rachel. Date, 3 months into our marriage. Time for the Asheville property pitch. I'm sending you the fake documents. Make sure Daniel sees them on your laptop casually. Let him think he discovered the opportunity himself. Rachel. He's still nervous about money after the wedding costs. Robert. That's why you mention how proud you are of your dad's success, how you've always trusted his business sense. Make him want to impress you by trusting us, too. Rachel. Okay, I'll set it up this weekend. From Rachel. To Susan. Date, 2 years ago. Daniel's asking questions about the Asheville property. He wants to see the listing. Susan. Stall him. Tell him Dad's handling everything. Remind him that family doesn't nickel and dime each other. Make him feel guilty for not trusting us. Rachel. He's not stupid, Mom. Eventually he'll figure it out. Susan. Not if you keep him happy at home. That's your job. The business is ours. From Kevin. To Rachel. Date, last year. How much more do you think we can get out of him? Rachel. Dad thinks one more big score, maybe 200K. Then we should consider moving. Daniel's starting to push back more. Kevin. Where are we thinking? Austin? Denver? Rachel. Haven't decided, but we need to plan the exit carefully. I don't want him suspicious before we've maximized the take. I stopped reading, felt bile rising in my throat. Maximized the take. That's what I was to her. A take, a mark, a score. I opened the email folder, found an email Rachel had sent to her mother 4 months after our wedding. I know this isn't the life I imagined, but the money makes it bearable. Daniel's kind but boring. The house is nice though, and if we can get another 2 years out of this, I'll have enough saved to really start over somewhere fun. I closed the laptop, sat in my office, the office in the house I'd bought and renovated with my own money, and realized my entire marriage had been a business transaction. The woman sleeping in my bed didn't love me. She was an actress playing a role, collecting a paycheck disguised as marriage. Every "I love you," every intimate moment, every time she'd held my hand or laughed at my jokes or cried during movies, all of it was performance, for money. I heard footsteps in the hallway. Rachel was awake. Daniel, where are you? I copied all the files to my personal cloud storage. Then I pulled the USB drive out and put it in my desk drawer. In here, I called back. Rachel appeared in the doorway, wearing one of my t-shirts, hair messy, rubbing her eyes. What are you doing up so early? She smiled. That smile I'd trusted for 6 years. Couldn't sleep. Thought I'd get some work done. She walked over, wrapped her arms around me from behind, kissed the top of my head. You work too hard. Come back to bed. I felt her touch and felt nothing. Just cold awareness that this affection was calculated. Part of the job. In a minute. She squeezed my shoulders. Is everything okay? You seem tense. Just thinking about work stuff. Well, stop thinking and come cuddle with your wife. She smiled again. I had the weirdest dream about your dad calling. Oh? I kept my voice neutral. Yeah, something about the house being foreclosed. So random. She laughed. Probably because my dad was telling me yesterday they're thinking of refinancing. Boring money stuff. Laying groundwork. Preparing me for the next ask. She kissed my head again. Come on, it's Saturday. Let's have lazy morning sex, and then I'll make you pancakes. Transactional affection. Keep the mark happy. Keep the money flowing. I'll be there in 5 minutes. She left. I heard her go back to the bedroom, humming. I sat at my desk and made a decision. I wasn't going back to that bed. Wasn't touching her again. Wasn't playing along anymore. But I also wasn't confronting her yet. Because if the Hartwells were planning one final score before disappearing, I needed to know how much damage they'd already done. and I needed to protect myself legally before they realized I knew. I opened my laptop and emailed Patricia Morrison, the lawyer Thomas had mentioned. I'm a victim of the Hartwell investment fraud. I have evidence. I want to file suit. Call me Monday morning. Then I opened a new tab and searched for divorce lawyers in Charlotte. Top result, Catherine Hughes, specializes in high-asset divorce and fraud cases. I bookmarked her website. Then I went downstairs, made coffee, and sat on my porch watching the sunrise. Rachel came down 20 minutes later. You never came back to bed. Got caught up in work emails. Sorry. She slid into my lap, wrapped her arms around my neck. I miss you. You've been so distant lately. Just stressed about a project. Let me help you relax. She kissed my neck, the way she knew I liked. I felt nothing, just disgust. I need to run to the office today. Crisis with the building inspection. On Saturday? Yeah, should only take a few hours, she pouted. But I was hoping we could spend the day together. Maybe go to that new brunch place? Keeping me occupied, keeping me from thinking too much. Tomorrow, I said. I promise. Okay, she kissed me. I love you. The words sounded hollow now, like dialogue from a script. Love you too. She went inside. I heard her making breakfast, singing along to music. My wife, who'd been conning me for 6 years while pretending to love me. I pulled out my phone and called Thomas Reynolds. Daniel, I saw everything. You're right. She's part of it. I'm sorry. Don't be. What do I do now? Monday morning, call Patricia Morrison. File the civil suit. Then file for divorce. Fast. Before they realize you know. What if they come for more money before Monday? Say no to everything. Your father-in-law will call again. Your wife will pressure you. Kevin might show up with a new idea. Say no to all of it. And if Rachel suspects I know? She won't. She's been doing this too long. She thinks you're just another mark. They always underestimate the victims. I hung up and went inside. Rachel was plating scrambled eggs. Breakfast is ready. I sat across from her at the table we'd picked out together 2 years ago. She smiled at me. You know what? I was thinking. We should plan a trip, just the two of us. Maybe Tuscany? We both need a break. Expensive trip. More money flowing out. Maybe, I said. Let's see how work goes. Don't be such a workaholic. Life is short. We should enjoy it. She reached across and squeezed my hand. I'm so lucky I found you. I looked at her, really looked at her, saw the calculation behind the smile, the strategy in the touch. Yeah, I said. Lucky. I spent Saturday at my actual office, going through 6 years of financial records, every investment I'd made in the Hartwell family schemes, every wire transfer, every check, every time I'd trusted them because they were family. Total damage, $680,000. But that wasn't all. I'd bought Rachel a car 3 years ago, $65,000. Paid for our wedding, $80,000. Bought her a business laptop and equipment for her design firm, $15,000. Covered her health insurance, phone bills, credit cards for 6 years. Approximately $90,000 more. She'd never contributed a dollar to household expenses. Her design income was apparently just her cut of the family cons. Total cost of my marriage to Rachel Hartwell, $930,000. Nearly $1 million for 6 years of lies. I made copies of everything, organized it in folders, built a timeline. Monday morning, I had a 9 a.m. consultation with Patricia Morrison. Monday afternoon, I had a 2 p.m. consultation with Catherine Hughes for the divorce. By Monday night, I'd have both lawsuits prepared. But first, I had to get through the weekend without Rachel realizing I knew. Saturday night, Rachel made dinner, pasta, Carbonara, my favorite. You seem distracted, she said over wine. Just the building inspection. It's going to be a nightmare to fix. Well, don't think about work tonight. Let's watch a movie and relax. We sat on the couch. She cuddled against me. I put my arm around her because not doing so would be suspicious. But I felt nothing. Just awareness that this woman had been acting for 6 years. My phone buzzed. Text from Robert. Daniel, we need to talk tomorrow. Important family matter. The final score was coming. Whatever they'd been building toward. I texted back. Can't tomorrow? Busy with work crisis. Maybe next week? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. It's urgent. Your wife's family needs you. I didn't respond. 5 minutes later, Rachel's phone buzzed. She checked it, frowned slightly. Everything okay? I asked. Oh, yeah, just my dad. He wants us to come over for dinner tomorrow. I can't. Work thing. Daniel, it's family dinner. You can't miss it. I'll have to. Tell them I'm sorry. She pulled away slightly. This is important to my dad. He specifically asked for you to be there. I'm sure it can wait. Her voice hardened. He said it's urgent. There it was. The pressure. The guilt. The expectation that I'd drop everything for the Hartwell family. Rachel, I have a building with code violations that could shut down my entire project. I can't skip that for Sunday dinner. Your project can wait one night. Family comes first. Family, the word they'd weaponized for 6 years. Not this time. She stood up. Fine, I'll go without you, but my dad is going to be disappointed. He'll survive. She grabbed her wine glass and went upstairs. I heard the bedroom door close harder than necessary. I sat alone on my couch in my house that I'd paid for entirely and felt relief. No more guilt, no more obligation, no more funding their lies, just clean, cold clarity. Sunday morning, Rachel barely spoke to me, got dressed for her family dinner in silence. You're sure you won't come? Last attempt at manipulation. I'm sure. Fine, she grabbed her purse. I'll probably stay over there tonight, since family obviously isn't important to you. Drive safe. She left. I waited until her car was gone, then called Thomas Reynolds. She's at her parents' house. I think they're planning the final ask today. Probably. Without you there, they'll strategize how to pressure you. Expect a call tonight with some emotional crisis. I'm not answering. Good. Keep your distance until Monday. Once we file, everything changes. I spent Sunday organizing evidence. Every document, every text, every wire transfer. Built a spreadsheet showing the pattern. 6 years of systematic fraud. At 7 p.m., Robert called. I didn't answer. At 7:30, Susan called. Declined. At 8 p.m., Kevin called. Declined. At 8:45, Rachel called. I almost didn't answer, but realized silence would make her suspicious. Hello? Daniel. Her voice was tight. We need to talk. What's wrong? My family needs help, real help, and you're being selfish. Rachel. No, listen to me. My parents are in trouble. Real financial trouble. They need $200,000 by Wednesday, or they lose everything. The house, their savings, everything. And you won't even come to dinner to discuss it. The final score, $200,000. What happened? Bad investments. The market. It's complicated. But they need family to help. That's what marriage means, Daniel. Your family is my family. Tell them to liquidate their assets. They don't have liquid assets. Everything's tied up. Daniel, please. I'm begging you. This is my parents. The desperation in her voice would have broken me a week ago. Now I heard it for what it was. Performance. I'm not wiring $200,000, Rachel. So you're just going to let my parents lose everything? I've given your family $680,000 over 6 years. I'm not giving more. Silence. Then her voice changed. Colder. You've been tracking how much you've given us? Like we're some kind of charity case? Like I'm some kind of ATM. We're family, Daniel. No, Rachel. We're not. I hung up. She called back immediately. I sent it to voicemail. She called 14 more times. All voicemail. Then texts started. You're destroying my family. I can't believe I married someone this selfish. My mother is crying. Are you happy? If they lose the house, it's on you. Fine, don't help. But don't expect me to forgive this. I turned off my phone and went to bed. Tomorrow, everything would change. Monday morning, 9 a.m., I sat in Patricia Morrison's office. She reviewed my evidence for 30 minutes in silence, then looked up. This is one of the clearest fraud cases I've seen. Fake property documents, systematic requests, pattern targeting. We can definitely file suit. Against all of them, Robert, Susan, Kevin, and Rachel. They're all complicit based on these bank records and messages. What can I recover? Hard to say. They've probably spent most of it, but we'll go after any assets they have. Property, cars, bank accounts, and if they try to flee, we can get a court order freezing everything. How long will this take? Depends on if they fight. Could be 6 months, could be 2 years, but with this evidence, I'm confident we'll win. Do it. Patricia started drafting the complaint while I waited. At 2 p.m., I met Catherine Hughes, the divorce attorney. She reviewed the same evidence. North Carolina is an equitable distribution state, but fraud by a spouse changes everything. We can argue the marriage was entered under false pretenses, that Rachel married you specifically to facilitate her family's fraud scheme. What does that mean for the divorce? It means you keep everything. The house, your business, your assets. She gets nothing because the marriage was fraudulent. Can she fight that? She can try. But these text messages showing she was planted to target you? That's devastating evidence. How fast can we file? I can have papers ready by end of day. We can serve her tonight. Do it. By 6 p.m., both lawsuits were filed. Civil fraud suit against Robert, Susan, Kevin, and Rachel Hartwell. Amount sought, $680,000 plus damages and legal fees. Divorce petition against Rachel Hartwell on grounds of fraud. At 7 p.m., a process server arrived at Robert and Susan's house and served them all. At 7:30, my phone started ringing. Robert, Susan, Kevin, Rachel. I answered none of them. At 8 p.m., Rachel came home, burst through the front door. I was sitting in the living room, waiting. What the fuck, Daniel? She was holding the divorce papers, shaking with rage. Fraud? You're divorcing me for fraud. You married me to con me. Yes, that's fraud. That's insane. I love you. I pulled out my laptop, opened the text messages, turned the screen toward her, read these out loud. She looked at the screen. Her face went white. Where did you get those? Doesn't matter. Are they real? Daniel, are they real? She sank onto the couch. You don't understand. It's not what it looks like. It looks like you and your family have been running a con on me for 6 years. What part am I misunderstanding? My family was struggling. My dad made some bad investments. We needed help. So you married me to steal from me. I didn't steal. We had a marriage. I was a good wife. You were an actress, playing a role, for money. Tears started. Real or fake, I couldn't tell anymore. I do love you, Daniel. That part was real. At first it was the plan, but then I fell in love with you. When? Before or after you texted your brother about maximizing the take? She had no answer. Get out of my house. This is my house too. No, it's not. It's mine. I bought it. I renovated it. You contributed nothing except lies. Get out. I have nowhere to go. Go to your parents' house, the one that's not actually being foreclosed. She stared at me. How did you know that was fake? Private investigator. He found everything. All of it. Every fake property. Every fake business. Every fake crisis. Your entire family's 15-year con operation. Rachel stood up slowly. If you do this, you'll lose everything too. Divorce is expensive. Lawsuits take years. You'll spend $200,000 in legal fees just to prove you're right. Worth it. Daniel, please. Let's talk about this. We can work it out. There's nothing to work out. You're a con artist. Your family are con artists, and I'm done being the mark. You're really going to throw away 6 years? I'm not throwing away anything. You already did that when you decided to marry me for money instead of love. She grabbed her purse, headed for the door, stopped and turned back. You'll regret this. My father has lawyers. We'll fight you. We'll make this so expensive and painful you'll wish you'd just given us the $200,000. Let them try. She left. I heard her car start, watched through the window as she drove away. Then I locked every door, went upstairs, and stripped the bed completely. Put on fresh sheets that she'd never touched. For the first time in 6 years, I slept alone, and I slept perfectly. The lawsuits took 18 months. The Hartwells fought everything, hired expensive lawyers, claimed all the investments were legitimate, claimed I was a vindictive husband inventing fraud to avoid paying in the divorce. But the evidence was overwhelming. Thomas Reynolds found 4 more victims willing to testify. Same pattern, same fake investments, same family pressure tactics. The judge wasn't sympathetic. Final judgment on the fraud suit, $680,000 in restitution, plus $120,000 in punitive damages and legal fees. Robert and Susan's house, the one they actually owned, was seized and sold at auction. I got $340,000 from the sale. Kevin's Tesla was repossessed. His cryptocurrency accounts were liquidated. Another $45,000. Rachel's car, the one I'd bought her, was sold. $40,000. Total recovered. $425,000. Not everything, but substantial. The rest I'll probably never see. The Hartwells spent faster than they stole. The divorce was finalized in 8 months. Rachel got nothing. The prenup she'd convinced me we didn't need became irrelevant when the marriage was ruled fraudulent from inception. She tried to claim the house. The judge laughed. You contributed nothing to this property and married the plaintiff under false pretenses. Motion denied. She appealed. Lost. Last I heard, Rachel moved to Denver with her parents. They're probably running the same con on some other successful professional right now. Kevin got arrested 6 months ago in Austin for wire fraud. Different scam, same family playbook. I don't keep track of them anymore. Don't care where they are or what they're doing. It's been 2 years since that 5 a.m. phone call. I'm 40 now. Still in Charlotte. Still in my house. The one I built, the one I kept. I sold my real estate business last year. Too many memories of funding the Hartwells. Started fresh with a new venture, commercial renovation projects, just me, my team, no partners. I dated once, lasted 3 weeks. Couldn't trust anything she said. Every compliment felt calculated. Every interest in my life felt transactional. My therapist says I'm processing trauma, that financial abuse is real abuse, that it's okay to be angry, to be cautious, to take time. I haven't forgiven them. Don't know if I ever will, but I've forgiven myself for being fooled. That's progress. Last month, I got an email from someone named Michael Torres. Subject line, "Are you the Daniel Foster who sued the Hartwells?" I almost deleted it, but something made me open it. I'm currently married to a woman named Sarah Hartwell. She's Rachel's cousin. Her family is asking me to invest in a commercial property in Nashville. Your lawsuit came up when I Googled them. Can we talk? I called him immediately. Spent 2 hours on the phone explaining the entire pattern, the fake properties, the family pressure, the systematic targeting. Get out now, I told him, before they take everything. I'm already in for $200,000. Then stop before it's $700,000 like me. He called me a week later. I hired a private investigator. You were right. The Nashville property doesn't exist. Sarah's been receiving payments from her family. I'm filing for divorce. Good. Don't feel guilty. They're professionals. This is what they do. Thank you for warning me. Thank you for listening. We stay in touch now. Two men who loved the wrong women, who trusted the wrong families, who learned the hard way that some people see marriage as a business opportunity, not a partnership. I'm 40, single, cautious, protective of my money in ways that probably make me seem paranoid to people who've never been conned by someone they loved. But I'm free. Free from the Hartwells. Free from funding someone else's lies. Free from believing that family always means love. Sometimes family just means access. And the smartest thing you can do is change the locks before they take everything. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment about where you're watching from. And if you've ever been married to someone who saw you as an investment opportunity instead of a partner, you're not alone. Subscribe for more stories. Because sometimes the people who say, "Till death do us part," really mean, till your money runs out. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say no and walk away.